when you regret something, it doesn't always necessarily have to be not doing something. It can also be, like we said before, doing something that was not in good taste, and so when that happens, obviously it's important to recognize what you did wrong. If you don't recognize what you did wrong, whew,
It can be hard
I mean,
sometimes.
yeah, that's true. I mean,
Like,
that's true. But I would say, like, if you got to have some clarity to make sure that you're not really, like, what's the word, antisocial. Like, you're not trying to purposely hurt somebody.
not antisocial, just like harmful, self-harmful
Well, yeah, because antisocial or antisocial is by
against.
definition is yeah, against the social order, right? So
I thought it was just being like a super introvert.
no, that's not what it is.
That's not what antisocial means.
No. If you looked in a psychology textbook, that's not how it's defined. It's like literally against doing things against, or at least antisocial disorder, for instance, is like doing stuff that is
To make you hated.
um no, it's just doing stuff against social order,
Like
like
what?
things that are not socially acceptable.
Like like peeing in the sink.
I don't.
I haven't done that, by the way. That's not a regret because I've never done it.
That sounds so sus right now, bro.
No, I've never done it. That's from Hey Arnold. It's
Hey
a
Arnold.
good cartoon.
Okay,
90s cartoon.
straying from the point. My point is, um, we're not telling you how to live your life, but if you're gonna do stuff that hurts someone, at least recognize that you hurt someone and make amends. Because you're gonna regret it down the line.
Well, never try to intentionally hurt someone.
Yeah, yeah, of
Revenge
course.
is not the
Well,
answer.
you
Watch
you tell
our
me.
podcast.
You you tell me. Like, if you try to if you hurt someone in some way, and you didn't try to make amends, and let's say you're not a morally depraved human being, wouldn't you feel regretful if you didn't try to do anything to fix it?
I mean, you say that, but relationships can be very complicated. Like, in this hypothetical example, was I the sole problem? Or,
Like, were you the perpetrator of the act, for instance?
well, is this
Or is that what
act.
you're asking?
Yeah, is this act illegal?
No,
Okay,
dude. I'm
okay. It's
saying, like,
just
just like
petty relationship stuff.
whatever. Yeah.
Um, I mean, if it's like my fault, then it is what it like. Sometimes people aren't compatible with one another.
It's true.
And maybe I'm just deflecting the question, but like sometimes like the person I am and the person someone else is just don't click. They don't resonate. Whether it's a friendship or a relationship or whatever, like if we just don't get along or our personalities clash, or it's just not a positive thing. It's like we might just not interact anymore, and that's a bridge relatively burned, but not because of malice or because of like me doing something unintentionally to hurt them. It's just because me and that person were never meant to be together as whatever, you know.
Mm. Yeah,
But
that's true.
for your question regarding like if I did something that unintentionally hurt someone, my nature usually is to try and make amends, to try and like and if the relationship is going to end, then try to end it on the best terms possible. And if it's possible to salvage, maybe try to salvage it. I wouldn't just leave it for dead.
Yeah. I mean, there is a time and a place for conflict, the way I see it. Conflict obviously is not,
Stupid.
I mean, we don't need to talk about our opinions on conflict right now, but I'm saying, like, like I said, there's a time and a place for it, and sometimes it may be necessary because it lets things air out, you know, but other times it's really, really not the way. And so you let that take over, and that puts you in a position that if you were, let's say you have decent manners, you're a human being and everything, like, you look back on it and you're like, why did I do that, or why did we get into that scuffle, it just makes you, it doesn't make you feel good. You just, like, one of those cringy moments in life, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I think from my experience, my small bag of experience with people, one of the best things I learned is the value of communication.
Oh my gosh, Yeah, that's
Um,
so important, man.
early in my life, like when I was a young teenager, making like, high school, it's a new setting, and puberty and all that stuff. You know, when I was young, when I was a young teenager and I was going through high school, I when I was talking to people, I was very like closed and I never really wanted to like open up about anything. So like whenever I had a problem, I would just kind of suck it up or deal with it.
Yeah.
And when I started having friends and relationships, that attitude is not the best attitude because you can completely unintentionally be a little cold or distant,
Mm-hmm.
and that, as I learned, that can be interpreted like you are genuinely cold and distant, like you are like trying to be that way towards them on purpose, like you're trying to make them feel like, try to belittle them in some way, like some psychological malicious tactic to make them feel bad.
Right.
And that was never my intention. I might have just been in a bad mood, but I would never tell anyone I was in a bad mood or that life was just being really stressful or really bad.
Totally.
So, had I communicated that, maybe some of those interactions probably would have been much more understandable for the afflicted parties. But because I kept it all in, they didn't know any better. Like how could they? I never told them my life was going through a harsh turn. So they would just interpret it as me being me, and they would think, "Wow, he's mean, he's cold, I don't want to be around this guy, or this guy has problems." And that could have all been resolved if I just said, "Listen, I'm going through a lot of stuff right now. I just need some time to think, or I need to like talk about it, not to be like shunt it onto them, not to be like, oh, listen, oh, woe is me, listen to me, my life sucks, not like that, but just to like clear the room and be like, listen, it's not you, my life is just it's going through some stuff, and I can go into detail if you want to hear it, but I just want you to know it's nothing personal, it's just my life being my life, you know and it can be as simple as just like mentioning that, just saying, listen, now is not a good time.